How's it going, guys? Today I got another light for you from GVM. This is the GVM Y30D160. This is a bicolor light. The coolest thing about this light is because this is primarily designed to be using as a desktop light. As a matter of fact, this is what comes included with this light. So if you have a table that's about half an inch in thickness all the way to 4 inches, and by the way, you can actually even increase that. All you gotta do is unscrew here, so it gives you another inch or so. So you can actually mount this to a table or piece of wood that's like this thick. And this is also good that it comes with the regular stud here. So the cool thing about this light here is because you're not limited in just using this as a desktop light, because they have a regular 5/8 spigot mount here, in which, as you can see, you can actually hook it up to a regular light stand, as long as you have the same 5/8 stud mount over here. I already have lights like this, similar to this thing here, with a round shape and this makeup mirror deal kind of thing. But when you unbox this light, you're gonna really appreciate the material that they put in this light here, because this whole thing here is made of aluminum, and this light is pretty beefy and heavy. To power this light, it does not accept one battery. It always have to be in pairs, so this light is not gonna power with one battery, only with 2 batteries. And a quick disclaimer here, this video is not sponsored in any way, shape or form. GVM sent me this light for free to review, and it stops right there. I'm not paid to say anything. If I don't think this light will be useful for me or you, I wouldn't waste your time or my time also setting up lights and editing. You know, it's a lot of work, this kind of deals here on YouTube reviews. So I think this is a pretty good light, and also I like the fact that the whole thing is made of metal here. When you actually tap, this whole entire thing is made of aluminum, and the front display here, I don't know how thick this thing is, because the other lights is almost like a drum thing, but this thing here, it feels like it's at least 4-5 millimeters thick. It's ridiculously thick. You can hear the sound. You know, it's not like... This is pretty impressive. And also the brightness setting, the way they did here for cinematography purposes, the range of this brightness. For example, I'm going to be turning off the light here. So I'm at, let me see here, 5600 degrees Kelvin. I'm actually shooting with a Canon C200 Mark II. I'm using a 24-105 Canon L series lens. The aperture is at f4, the ISO is 850, and the shutter is at 1/90th of a second. You can actually see how dim this light is for cinematography purposes. This is really great because, you know, look at the, I'm actually half an inch from this light. You can't even see my face yet. So it goes from very dim all the way to super bright as far as 30 watt goes, you know, so it's pretty bright. So I'm actually gonna shine the light on the background real quick here as 5600 degrees Kelvin, and then all the way to 3200 degrees Kelvin. This particular light here, it doesn't have that compensation on the 4200-ish degrees Kelvin, as you can see. So when you have this light in the middle, it's going to be twice as bright, which is going to draw more battery power. I wish it was the kind of light that kind of compensates, because the other previous GVM light that I received, I think I reviewed, I think is the GVM G100W, something like that. When you actually go to the entire range of the color temperature, it doesn't get brighter. The whole thing stays like linear. So it's the same exposure from here all the way down here. So this light here doesn't do that, but it's not a big deal because most lights will do that anyway. Usually tends to get brighter in the middle. But it looks like the colors are pretty decent. The tungsten is nice and warm. Let me shut off this light here. I'm shooting at manual Kelvin at 5600 Kelvin. And the light is right here. And tungsten and the 4200. Another thing I like about this light is because when you dial either the color temperature or the brightness intensity, some lights they make, this thing is like infinity. You keep it like turning, the thing doesn't stop. This one here has a solid stop from 10% all the way to 100%, 99 actually. And as you can see, it's by 1 and 1% increments, so you can actually fine tune very precisely this light. But when you are at the maximum range here, the knob will stop, which is great. Same thing with the color temperature there, from 3200 degrees Kelvin in 100 degree Kelvin increments, like most lights that you see. And then at the end, the knob is gonna stop, hard right or hard left. And also responds very quickly. It's not that little slow thing that you see in most lights. So it goes from 10% immediately to 99%. Same thing with the color temperature here, from 3200 all the way to 56. It's very quick, which is very nice when you are in a rush or need something done quick. And over here is the channels like any other GVM light. It goes from channel 0 all the way to channel 11. You can actually go up and down, press and hold, whatever you want to do. So I usually like my light set to 00. And this button over here is also pretty simple. You tap it once to access your slave, Notice that both LEDs that has to be on. I think on the video, the thing is flashing, but this is a solid green. It doesn't flash. It's just somehow the frame rate or whatever, this thing's flashing, but just ignore that. And this button here is also very simplistic. This is light on regular mode. You can actually control the buttons here, the brightness and color temperature. You press this button once again, and it becomes a slave. So if you have two identical lights or similar GVM bicolor lights, they're all gonna work in conjunction. You don't have to have two identical lights like this. Any GVM bicolor. Now, if you have the RGB line of GVM, it's not gonna be compatible. So it's gonna be RGB series with RGBs and also bicolor with bicolor. So then they don't mix together. So if you have another bicolor GVM, even if it is another model, whatever, this is gonna work flawless. And I actually can see by the updates on the iPhone at least, the GVM Easily app, which is the name of the app here to control these lights on Wi-Fi, they have improved a lot because before I had a connection issue, now this problem does not exist anymore. So especially on the bicolor here, you don't need to touch anything. You don't even have to press any Wi-Fi button, nothing like that. All you gotta do is open your app settings there, find the Wi-Fi GVM_LED, which is the default name of the light, and the password is GVM_admin. So you automatically connect. The only thing that might be a problem, if you have a VPN on your phone, you have to tell the VPN this is a trusted network, otherwise this light will never connect. So if you don't have a VPN, don't worry about it, just forget what I just said here. So the thing is, you just grab your phone, go to your settings, make sure the GVM LED appears. I don't know if the next thing here is the menu or not, or if it is easy to find there or not, but one very important thing, if you try to connect this thing to the Wi-Fi app and it does not connect, maybe because you accidentally forgot this thing on the slave mode, because as long as you have the both LEDs on and this light is set to slave, you will not be able to see the Wi-Fi ID on this light. It disappears because it's waiting for another light to control instead of your Wi-Fi here to control the light. So make sure this thing is completely disengaged, and then it goes back to normal operation mode. Also notice that when you have this on slave, you cannot control these buttons here because another light is controlling this light. So when I have the other light as a master, yes, everything works there, but this is on the slave, it just receives the command. So to get out of here, just press this button once again, everything is back to normal operation, everything works over here, and also the Wi-Fi is gonna be magically reappearing on your phone here. So all you gotta do is click on the thing. By the way, I actually modified already the ID. I modified it exactly as GVM_Y30D160 because I have a bunch of GVM lights. So when I connect this thing to the network, I want to know which light is connected to what. And also says here weak security because the GVM_admin is a very weak password as far as having Wi-Fi from a light. I don't think anybody can get into your phone because it's just the Wi-Fi of the thing here. It's not your internet provider. So, you know, I guess. But it's also a good idea to change to a more robust and complex password as long as you remember. If you forget the password again, just press and hold this button here, which is the mode reset button for like 5 seconds. And everything is erased back to factory. And this network here, just like you go to somebody's house, hey, can I use a Wi-Fi for a second? And then as long as you remember the Wi-Fi here, the next time you come back to this person's house, your phone is automatically connected to the Wi-Fi. So when I actually turn on this light here, if the Wi-Fi is actually set to be remembered, it's going to be connecting automatically. So sometimes it can be a good thing or a bad thing. When you are on the street outside from your network, if you have the Wi-Fi enabled here with the lights on, the Wi-Fi is going to automatically switch to the GVM, and then you're going to have no internet. So if you don't want that, just disable your Wi-Fi and then you go back to your Verizon LTE 4G, 5G, whatever you got. So let's go to the GVM Easily app, which I can actually call it now GVM Easily, which is easier than before because the thing just connects real quick. I just launched the app, this whole thing is connected. I didn't even touch the light, right? Which is cool. So over here you have your brightness from 10% all the way to 100, and also the color temperature from 3200 to 5600. The channels here, don't worry about it because this is only important for the master slave configuration. On the Wi-Fi here, these channels don't matter. At least not for one light. And you can also turn on the light. It also makes noise. Let me unmute my phone here, as you can see, which is pretty cool. So this app is pretty simple. So brightness here and the color temperature on the bottom. So if you have the RGB, this is one cool update. They worked on it because before it was a hassle. You gotta go here and switch the if you have a bicolor, if you have a RGB, now it connects. If it is an RGB signal, this thing is instantly knowing this RGB, so you're gonna see the RGB platform here. If it is a bicolor, it's gonna automatically switch to the bicolor platform. That's great, because before I had to manually do things, so good job. So if you want to modify the password, all you gotta do is click on the fourth option here, modify Wi-Fi, and then you have your new username, which in my case, I like to rename the light exactly as the model here. In this case, the GVM Y30D160. And the password, your own password. Make sure it is a nice password. It's not as weak as the GVM_admin. And then you hit OK. So after you change your password and username here, expect to be kicked out of the network like any other network. So all you have to do is go back to your phone settings, find the new network ID with whatever name that you name this thing as, and also put again the new password that you change, and then you connect again, go to the GVM app, everything works again. If you change to the factory default, it's gonna go back to the GVM_admin, and then you have to reconfigure everything. So once you power off this light and you don't do anything else, this should connect easily as it sounds, the GVM Easily app. The accessories here, of course, it comes with the light. The batteries are not included, you have to buy your own. Now the stand that they provide here, this whole thing that mounts on your desk is made of metal. The knobs are not, but they're pretty heavy duty. The threads are metal, of course. The pole is made of metal, including the inner pole here and also here, except this one here and the knob, which is made of plastic. I don't find this easy to break unless you twist this real tight, which there's no need for it. Or just the fact they're not only limited to use with the stand that they provide here. Any other light stand that has this type of mount here, you can actually use this. So it's not only limited to desktop applications with your FaceTime or on Skype or Facebook Messenger, video, whatever you want to do, or Zoom meeting. You can actually use this for cinematography, which is pretty cool. And also the craftsmanship of this light also is going to be withstanding a lot of heavy handling with this light, because it's all metal, and this thing here is also really thick. And it also comes with the power supply and power cord, which is a nice thick gauge, and also this bag here, which has a front compartment in which you can actually separate this from the light. You put your power supply and everything else here, close the zipper, and then the light actually goes inside. It fits very well here, and this is what it looks like inside. So it's actually semi-padded. The padding here is about, I would say, a 1/4 inch thick, which is plenty of protection for traveling or transporting this bag here. But I really appreciate the fact that it comes with the extra pocket, because I don't want to put my power supply on top of my light, because I don't like scratching on my equipment. I also like the fact that GVM always provides a case for most things that they do. This is nothing special to look at, but at least it's better than spending more money or the frustration of going to Amazon and finding a bag that fits this thing here. So GVM is great for also always making the bags. I really appreciate that, because some other brands, some lights that I have, they don't have the case, so I have to buy the case, either the case that they have or some other case that I hope will fit in here, which is never the case as well. Let's say that you don't have anything to mount up above. If you want this light to act as a headlight on a movie scene with the subject there, and you need the overhead lighting, and you don't have any other tools, or you forgot your clamps, maybe you can actually mount this on a door, not on the door frame, the actual door, up, and try not to get the thing on a shot. Maybe that's gonna work. But anything with a beam on the ceiling, or anything that you can actually hook this up, maybe a tree, that's great as well, as long as the thing is stable. So there's actually a lot of uses for this. So I think it's pretty cool, the fact that they include this, but keep in mind that this does not fit in the case. It fits everything: the power supply, the light itself, and the cables here. So this thing here, I guess you wrap it around a towel or some other bag that you might have, so to transport it, or just take it like this. Keep in mind this thing has very sharp corners. This can hurt somebody. Try to always wrap around for safety of your crew and everything else. And obviously this is where you connect your power supply here. So I always do the same exact thing to every power supply that I receive. So as you can see, there's a Velcro thing going on here, because I don't like the stress or having this thing kind of dangling around, because it's always an ugly thing to see, and I don't want any stress here. At least they made this thing on an angle which reduces the amount of stress instead of a straight cable. So what I do here, as you can see, there's two Velcros here. You put the soft part part of the Velcro first to bond to the case, and then you put this other Velcro here, the opposite coarse side of the part. Another thing that you can do is this furniture selfie-sticky kind of thing here, which actually comes off very easily. It's not going to damage your label, it's not going to peel it out, so the glue is not strong at all. So all you got to do is to put this thing facing up, lightly press against the pole, tightly Velcro the thing around, and this is not going anywhere. This is perfect. And then you can actually rotate right here, and this can go right here. You can also untangle this, of course. Another Velcro. I like to keep everything neat, so that's just that simple. You can also mount this below the stand here, whatever you want to do. But when you have this set up like this, the thing goes with the light, so there's nothing dangling here. And especially if you finish doing this little thing with the wire here, so your whole setup is very nice and neat, and you just have it this way. So you can actually still tilt the light. If you need more room, just, you know, give you more room here. Whatever excess wire they don't need, just, you know, do the way I did here. And of course, you power this light off. The center position here means off. Also avoid doing this with the noise because you're gonna wear out pretty quickly. So you wanna turn this light, you just take it and wait a little bit, and then turn it on. And then if you want to go to the AC part of the light here, just do this and that. There's no need to be like, you know, so you always, it's the ultimate recipe to make things fail. This type of switches here, I like it because it's a separate circuit for the AC and the DC. You have the DC right here, and then the AC once it's plugged in the outlet. So some lights, they only have the regular on and off switch, and when you happen to have your Sony's still attached here, what happens is voltage is still flowing through these terminals here, which is not the voltage that's designed to be charging your battery. So you're actually going to be damaging your battery. This light, for example, is safe because when you are on the AC, no voltage flows through here. When you are on the DC, and then that's when you are good to go. So this light over here, you don't have to worry about a thing. This thing is pretty weighty, pretty heavy. I like the way it feels in the hand, especially the front element here. It's really nice craftsmanship. Pretty impressed. I don't know about you guys, but the first thing that I do is to peel off that plastic thing here because I like the shininess. But when you wipe this light, make sure you use the same thing that you clean your eyeglasses with it so you don't scratch the plastic, because only cotton ball and those microfiber on this plastic here is a no good, because it actually gets fiber on it. So only cotton ball, and alcohol is 100% safe to wipe anything you see here. This is not going to come out. I wipe all my equipment with alcohol, not the 91%, 70%. So you can wipe everything from batteries, this thing here, remotes like this, the ink on the text doesn't come off. Just use common sense and your equipment will be always clean and shiny. So that's the end of my review. I hope you like what you saw. I hope this video was useful to you. If you are interested in purchasing this for a little, you know, conference meeting or another tool for your cinematography needs. If you like to subscribe to this channel, all we do here is lighting, sometimes batteries and microphones and such. It's always a pleasure doing video for you guys. I really appreciate the time watching my videos here and the support. So thank you very much for everything, and I see you next time.